What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and we have the results. We got them earlier today, but I've been so busy I didn't get a chance to make a video till right now. But The Rise of Skywalker box office numbers are in. Box office numbers for everybody. In 1917, finally a movie that is actually a legitimate challenge to Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is in theaters, and we saw a drastic slowdown again for The Rise of Skywalker, which ever since that second weekend holiday bump that we all knew it was going to get, this movie has been falling off hard. Another week of less than 50% from the last week. 4 weeks in a row. Total from its opening, it's lost about 91%. That's how much it's down. The only thing that's done worse than that is Batman vs Superman, which, hey, I wasn't as big a fan of the theatrical version as I am of the director's cut, but still, that movie dropped 95% first weekend to fourth weekend. And when you look at Jumanji, The Next Level, which has been out for an additional week, it made 14 million domestically, while Star Wars only made 15. There is a very good chance that Jumanji, The Next Level, could make more than Star Wars next week, even though it's been out longer. Imagine if that was the case. And you can see here that even with the global factored in, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker still not at 1 billion. Still yet to hit 1 billion, and it's slowed completely down. And, you know, it's just... I never thought that there was a chance that this movie would not get 1 billion. I thought it was 1.2 billion, around there to be sure. There's no way it's making that. It's going to just barely crack 1 billion. And I know people say, oh, it's $1 billion though. Listen, it is half of what The Force Awakens made. It is $300 million less than what The Last Jedi made. This is not good. This is not a success. When you factor in the production costs that they have told us about and the estimated marketing costs, all of that, when you take the box office cut factored in, this movie right now is sitting at maybe about $80 to $90 million in the black. It's not going to go up much more than that. That is not a huge booming financial success for this franchise that you invested $4 billion in, that you've invested a lot of time and energy in. That's not a success. Not when you are clearly able to get that success with Force Awakens, $2 billion, you make half that with this. That's not some raging success, guys. And when you look at a movie like, say, Jumanji, The Next Level, you see this tracker. This shows based on opening weekend, the shaded area should be around what it's expected to do. Because we had the Christmas holiday right here, you see this huge boom right here that is probably not expected. It's because of that holiday. It's been riding that ever since, but keeps dropping off. Finally, it's less, is finally back in that shaded area where it likely belongs. You look at a movie like Jumanji, The Next Level. Look what it's done in its time. It's just stayed consistent and is going up because people are still interested in it. That is incredible. This is going to be a big box office success. It's going to make more money for the studio than Rise of Skywalker will. Virtually guaranteed. So that is where you're looking at something that is a box office success. Now, you can see from Scott Mendelson right here, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is the first $1 billion disappointment. And he kind of puts all that into perspective as well when you factor in what happened with Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. That this one makes so much less. People are just not interested in this trilogy. They're not invested in these characters they've given us. And I think this is also an interesting one too that I found just earlier, a few minutes before I started this. It's an interesting perspective from this Showbiz 411. Star Wars is shrinking at the box office. The Rise of Skywalker is nearing 1 billion worldwide, but it's way behind the previous installments. The Force Awakens finished with 2 billion, enormous hit. The next chapter ended up at 1.3, a significant fall off. Skywalker shows Star Wars fatigue. It's not quite at 1 billion, and it's getting ready to say goodbye. Disney will keep a movie in theaters for a while, but the big push is over. And when he says Star Wars fatigue in this article, listen, it's bad Star Wars fatigue. You look at things like Mandalorian and the hype that got around that, which is a pretty average, a good show, not great by any stretch of the imagination. Star Wars is not fatigue. People are tired of the Disney sequel trilogy. That's what people are tired of. I guarantee you there's going to be tons of people really excited when Clone Wars comes out. I can guarantee you that. In the US, Skywalker has earned just half of what The Force Awakens raked in. And of course, we'll have to see DVDs and everything of that will play a factor later. That'll all go in at the end. Now the studio is threatening us. Listen to this. The studio is threatening us with a new Star Wars movie in 2022. Yes, just 2 years from now. We can only hope they will reconsider and wait longer. But they can't afford to. We all know that. You can't miss something that's never gone. It's time to give Star Wars a rest till they have great, and I mean a great idea. Not just more young people wandering around the universe with the inevitable cameos from the other movies. Let some nostalgia sink in first. And I thought that was just a really interesting perspective. And with the box office, I am excited for 1917. I've heard really great things from it. Sam Mendes, who I really liked Skyfall, the James Bond film, he directed that as well. It obviously won a Golden Globe. I don't care too much about those awards per se. Golden Globe's a little more so than maybe like the Academy Awards. However, there's some things that intrigue me about it. There's obviously a lot of interest for it. It dethrones Rise of Skywalker, which had been there for 3 weeks. But hopefully that can hold some legs too. I'm probably going to go see it next weekend, and I'm really looking forward to it. But Rise of Skywalker, the Disney fatigue. It is sequel trilogy fatigue. I think that so many of us can understand that. Listen, it's going to make $1 billion. And just like 7 other movies this year have made $1 billion. It's not going to make as much as Rogue One made, likely. Imagine that. A Star Wars spin-off movie, Rise of Skywalker, will not make as much as that movie. That is astounding, and that is not what Lucasfilm was looking for when they ended the Palpatine saga, or the Skywalker saga. Did I say Palpatine? I've been so used to saying that lately. But this grand finale should have been huge, but nobody cares. It could have been. If you would have given us a respectful end to the legacy characters, introduced these new characters in a good way that made us invested in them, maybe it could have been. Maybe it could have been bigger than The Force Awakens. People are saying that's unrealistic. You should have been going off that momentum. But instead, you killed it. Like, you killed any care factor that people had for this sequel trilogy. You have no one to blame but yourselves. So, let me know what you think in the comments below about this box office report. Do you think that, at this point, we used to say, do you think it'll make as much as Last Jedi? That's a dumb question to ask now. Do you think it'll make as much as Rogue One? And how do you think people are going to spin this to be some grand financial success when, in fact, it's really making a pitiful amount of money next to what they've invested in this movie and Star Wars in general? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video out there, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.